Hello everyone, this is Lamin Sane of LSWAT apps, and in this video we're going to take a look at other operator types. Okay, and before we're going to take a look at type of, which you type like this. So we say type of, and the next one we're going to take a look at is delete, and the next one we take a look at is the in operator, and the last one is instance of. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one, which is type of. So let's say you have some object or a number, for example the number 2. You want to get the type of that number. Use the type of operator, which you use like this, type of, and then you press you put in whatever value you want to check the type of, with a space in between. You press enter, that gives you number. Okay, just so that you can get a better idea of this, let's head over to our text editor here. So I'm going to delete everything from the last tutorial series, and so let's do our console .log of the number 2. So let's say type of 2 and see what we get in the console here. So I'm going to refresh the browser. As you can see, we get number. So next, let's do a type of some string. Let's say hello world, and let's see what we have in the browser. When I refresh, as you can see, the second console log is string. So let's do another type of for the value true. And let's see what we have. We should get boolean. Okay, as you can see, we have boolean here. So let's do it one more for that type undefined. So let's do undefined and see what we have. I refresh. As you can see, the type of undefined is the string undefined. Okay, so let's do it for null, which is a type in JavaScript. So when I refresh, as you can see, null is an object. Okay, so let's do it for an actual object here and see what we're gonna get. It is an empty object. So when I refresh, you can see we have gotten an object. So the type of an object is an object. And finally, let's do it for an array. You'll be surprised by this. If you guessed it, surprise, it's not array, but it's object. Okay, so the next operator that we want to take a look at is the delete operator. So let's say you had an object var some object. So it's the object equals to some object, and it has a key which is a, and a has the value hello, and it has another key which is b, and b has the value world. So now let's log that object there. So let's say some object. So let's refresh that in the browser. As you can see, we are being shown the object with these two keys hello, sorry, a and b with the value hello and world respectively. Okay, so the delete operator is used to delete a property from an object. Let's say we want to delete this a with the hello world altogether. We can just use delete, and then we can say some object dot a. Okay, so basically now when we log out some object, we should get that object with just the b value. So when I come in the browser now, when I refresh, as you can see, the first log gave us the full object, but the second log is the same object but without the a key. Okay, so third, let's look at the in operator. Okay, so the in operator is just this in here, and basically it is used to check if a key exists in an object. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this object here, and so the object is stored in a variable some object. So let's check if the key a exists in the object, and how you do that is you can say, so let's do a console.log. So basically if that key exists in the object, is going to be true, and if it doesn't, it's going to be false. So let's say a in, let's say some object. Okay, so basically we want to check if a exists in the object. Okay, so I'm going to put a code around that. Now come back to the browser here, and then I'm going to refresh, and as you can see, a exists, so it's going to print out true. Okay, so now let's check for z. Obviously z, the key doesn't exist in this object here, so we should expect that to be false, and as you can see, false is being outputted. Okay, so one last operator that I want to take a look at is the instance of operator. Basically, let's say you had an array. Let's say var my array equal to some array with the values 1 2 3. Okay, so if you wanted to check whether this is an array, normally if you do type of, so let's say log type of my array, even though it's an array, but JavaScript prints out the type of both an array and an object as an object. As you can see, this line here prints an object on index 25. So I'm going to comment all these out so that you can see that it's actually that array that's being shown the type of. Okay, so this is not the best way to check for whether something is an array or not. There's something called instanceof. So basically you can do console.log my array instance of, and then you can just say array. Okay, so there's a function called array in JavaScript. So if you want to check whether something is an array, this is how you write it. So if it's an instance of array, it should print out true. So now if I change this my array to something like a string, so let's say string, well actually let's make it an object. Okay, so now when I come here and I refresh, it should be false because an object is not an instance of an array. Okay, so that's one way to check for whether something is an array. So one last thing, for functions, you can also use instance of. Right now we haven't covered functions, but just bear with me. Let's say you have a function, okay, and my function, okay. So let's say var func instance. We create an instance of the function. You say new my function. So if you've used any object-oriented language, you know what that is. So if you wanted to check whether this variable here was created from this function, you can do log my func instance of, then you can just do my function. Okay, so this will be true if this variable was created from this function. In this case, it is, so it should print out true. And yeah, so that's how use the instance of operator. And in this video we covered 4 operators to use, which is the typeof, delete, in, and instance of. And that brings us to the end of this video. I thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Cheers, bye bye.